Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the Jaclyn Cosmetics Prep and Set collection. I picked up the under eye brightening powder, I picked up the translucent powder, and I picked up one of the brightening and setting palettes in the shade Light because your girl is light. I tried them over the last few days. You'll see why in this video, but I really wanted to give these the full test, the full experience, and be able to tell you everything about my experience. So if that sounds like your thing, keep on watching. All right, guys, good morning. I am getting ready for work. It is early on Friday morning, and I'm so excited to be making this video. You can see I already have my eyebrows, my foundation, and I've got my contour on. I've got concealer down the center of my face, but I haven't done a lot yet because I'm going to use this time to test out the latest Jaclyn Hill complexion products, and we're gonna do it exactly the way that she does it in her IGTV tutorial, so we're really making sure that we're testing out these products exactly as they were meant to be used. I did pick up the brightening pink under eye powder. So I have cool undertones. I'm very, very pale. I have a little bit of dark circles, so I thought that the brightening pink would be a good selection. I have the light brightening and setting palette, so you can see that here. And then I also picked up the translucent powder. So you can see that here. I haven't tried any of these products out myself yet. This is my first time. These are my first impressions. This is going to be very honest. And the only thing I did not pick up from this collection was the under eye primer. Number one, it was sold out by the time I got to it. And two, I was never going to buy it anyway because in looking at the ingredients and just kind of everything that was in there, it's effectively just an eye cream. I have an eye cream that has the same active ingredients, a lot of glycerin, dimethicone, same basic ingredients, and ultimately it's an eye cream. So my skin is well hydrated. I've gone through my normal routine. I put my eye cream on, so I really don't feel like that's going to make a huge difference in how these products perform. I'm also of the opinion that you shouldn't have to buy everything for each individual product to work. I think that you could just pick up one and you should expect it to work. So for the purposes of today's video, no, I did not pick up the eye cream, but yes, I think it's perfectly reasonable to have the expectation that the products still perform beautifully. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put some concealer on, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna do one eye at a time. This is just something that I like to do to make sure that my concealer doesn't sit or dry down or crease too much before I'm able to set it. So I do have my favorite concealer. And by the way, I'm using all of my best favorite products that never fail me. So for my foundation today, I am using my L'Oreal Infallible foundation. This stuff is incredible. And for my concealer, I am using the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. I feel like this product just works well with literally everything. It never, ever, ever fails me. So I'm just going to put a little here and a dab there. How I usually do my concealer these days. I have a concealer brush, and I'm just going to apply that. I'm actually going to use this as a mirror. This thing has an amazing mirror, this translucent powder. It has this giant mirror. It's actually really nice. All right, my concealer is on. Usually after I lay it down with a brush, I like to go in with a sponge and just gently pat it in. This picks up any excess product and also make sure that everything is just really, really smooth and not creasy, but everything is blending and melting together. All right, my concealer is laid. Now let's see what Jaclyn has to say about how we apply this.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab the light to medium palette and I'm gonna go in with the shade Light Banana and Almond. And I'm gonna mix those two together on a damp...
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna use those shades. Her undertones are very different from mine, so I'm gonna use different colors.
All right, so I'm just gonna take this and lightly begin to set my under eye. A tiny bit goes a long way. So literally I'm just gonna take that, I'll dab a little bit off on my wrist. And I'm just gonna barely even touch
All right, so let's get this going. Let's make sure nothing in my concealer has moved. Okay, so she goes in with the yellow shade, but that is not my shade, and I'm actually concerned about how useful this shade in particular is going to be for my skin tone. Maybe if I have like a suntan, like a sunless tanner on, this might come into handy, but I just don't see this actually being a useful shade, which is a little bit of a problem for me with how expensive this product is. Let's go in. I'm going to use my sponge again because that's what she did, and I'm actually going to go into this shade. This is shade Lilac. I'm going to pick some up on my sponge. And we're going to set the under eye. I don't know that I've ever even used a pressed powder under my eyes, so this is kind of a new experience for me. But it is definitely very, very brightening. There's a lot of coverage, which I really like, and it seems to be setting everything pretty nicely. I am getting some crepiness under here. It does look a little bit more creased than usual, I feel like. That could be because I'm not doing it as quickly and as in succession because I'm stopping to watch the video and talk to you guys, so that could be a part of it, but I'm not sure yet. I do like how brightening it is. I mean, look at the difference between the two. And you could see the difference when I was applying the product. And it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like I have a ton under my eye because I am using a pressed powder versus using a like baking powder and really caking it on. It is nice, and I don't feel like there's excess. It feels super, super nice. It was really easy to control. So let's go ahead and do the other side. Concealer is on, and very quickly I'm going to go behind it with my sponge with shade Lilac, and I'm going to press that in. I'm just taking a little bit of a time. I'm not trying to cake it on, not trying to thicken anything up under there, just want to set my concealer. All right, both eyes are set. What do we think? That is extremely bright. That is bright. Wow, I really like that shade. This shade Lilac combined with the concealer just looks so bright and beautiful. I really like the tone. I am, though, getting those under eye crinklies, that crepiness. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I will show you with my iPhone really, really close up later in this review. But I am getting some of that, but overall everything else looks very, very smooth. Everything is very smooth, it's brightened, it looks natural. I'm really digging using the shade Lilac in the pressed powder for my under eye and setting that so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and I want to set the center of my face with this too. And I'm going to go into this shade. This is shade Coconut. It's a very neutral, light color. With my sponge, set those areas of my face that usually break down because of my oiliness. It's really important that those get set properly if my makeup is going to last. I feel like I get a decent coverage with the powder, but it's not too much. It's actually kind of a medium coverage. It looks nice. It's laying nice. It's playing nicely with my foundation and my products. It looks very blended, and you can see now how brightened the center of my face looks. That is the end of our use of this palette, the brightening and setting palette. We used the Lilac shade as well as the Coconut shade. So far, I'm liking how it looks. It's looking very, very brightening, very natural, and I don't have any other powder on my face. And so the fact that it looks so natural but brightening is a positive. I'm really enjoying the product right now. Is there anything particularly special beyond the brightness? I mean, I'm not sure. I'm still looking pretty crepey and wrinkly under here. My concealer has creased, unfortunately. It does look pretty creasy. At the end of this, I'll take my iPhone and kind of show you up close, but it does look smooth. It does look bright. It's blending in really nicely, and it's not too cakey because it's a pressed powder, so it's not like we're packing on a full bake under the eye, which I like. I actually really like that. I prefer not to slap on a bunch of powder and fully bake my under eye these days. So in terms of that, it's working so far. But let's try to finish up this makeup and let's see what Jaclyn does next.
This powder right here is so amazing, you guys. So I'm just gonna take a large, fluffy synthetic brush and just go ahead and dab that in. And as you're gonna see, it's literally not going to mattify me. It's not gonna add any coverage whatsoever because it is translucent.
So she's gonna take the translucent powder and a fluffy brush, and she's gonna set the entire face. She says that she doesn't want it to mattify her, that it's like the exact opposite of what I like to do.
But what it's gonna do is give me a really beautiful glow. And just like the under eye powder, it is made to blur and smooth. Something for me is I love to be dewy in general, and I feel like every powder really mattifies my skin.
I do not like to be dewy. I'm too oily for that.
And takes away from all the effort that I put in to make it look so dewy in the first place. So I wanted to create a powder that's gonna continue to allow you to feel dewy and glowy throughout the day.
Okay. So let's give this a try. She says that she didn't want it to be fully mattifying, but she did want it to set the face, and there are pearls inside this product that are supposed to help give a little bit of a radiance and illumination. So this is the product here. I really like the pan size. I really like the size of this product. I can see there's some sparkle to the product. I don't know if it's visible here. There is a sparkle to it, and I usually stay away from the words radiance, anything that says glowy. I stay away from it because I'm oily, and those products always end up looking like absolute trash by the end of the day. They just make me look sweaty and just disgusting because the oiliness of my skin is like enough dewiness as it is. So I am a little bit nervous to use this product, but we're gonna go in, we're gonna give it a try. Maybe it's not too glowy. So she takes a fluffy brush and she just goes in, and I love the size of this pan. This is really amazing because you can see my brush fully goes in and it covers the entire pan. I can pick up a good amount of product. I like to swirl right there just to evenly distribute the product on my brush, but also get rid of any excess. So let's go ahead and set. And I'm just using stippling motions because I don't want to move the product underneath. If you wipe, sometimes it just kind of moves any creams underneath a little bit. So I personally prefer a stippling motion. It definitely mattified my skin. It's setting it. It's not as radiant as I thought it was going to be. Based on how she described it, I felt like this was going to be very glowy. It's definitely brightening. I don't know if you can see on camera, but my skin is definitely brightened and lightened. I don't need a ton of lightening on my skin, to be honest, because I'm already so pale, but I feel like that did just blur everything pretty nicely. Everything looks nice and set. I'm not seeing a ton of sparkle. I don't feel like this is radiant, which is good. I don't like a radiant product, especially to set my face. I like to mattify and then choose where I sparkle versus just being kind of an all over radiant glow because I'm an oily gal. Okay, so far I really like that, and it doesn't feel heavy. It feels very light on the skin. I really don't feel it all. And then my skin texture is really, really soft. It definitely set the products. My skin texture is very, very soft. It's very light. My face definitely looks brighter. I think if you were to look before and after I set it, it definitely is very, very bright. And it's also blending in nicely with the powder that we already had under the eye. Everything is starting to look really, really nice. So let's see what Jaclyn says to do next.
Okay, so I'm super excited to introduce to you my loose under eye powder. This is extremely different than the pressed powder that I showed you guys in the palettes, in the sense of this has way more pigment, way more coverage.
Pigment and coverage. Those are my favorite words.
The thing that I love so much about this loose one is that you can use it all over the face just like the palette, but you can bake with it as well.
She says it's for all over the face. You can use it all over the face, but it's branded as an under eye powder.
Okay, so again, I'm just gonna grab my beauty sponge that I need to replace so bad. This one is like completely falling apart. And I'm just going to, you can see the coverage in that, how intense. You can see my favorite technique, it is very high pigmented. As always, I'm going to just run this down the side of my nose because I did do a little nose contour.
She also bakes her nose, but I don't do that. My nose just doesn't look good that way.
Okay, so this has been sitting on my face now for like 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe this off with a kabuki brush.
And she uses a kabuki brush to blend in that bake, which is something I've never done before. So we're going to try that today. So let's give this a go. She doesn't use the under eye baking powder to bake her under eye. And I've been confused about that since the beginning. It's like, why would you come out with this product and this at the same time when they're both branded as brightening setting powders? And what is each used for? How are they different? It's been kind of confusing for me, so that's why I'm using her video to kind of guide me along the way so that I can give this the proper try. But this, she uses it. It's branded as a brightening pink under eye powder, but she doesn't use it on her under eye. Okay. So let's go in. I have already clearly set my entire face, but I do like that baking technique under here to just really cut my jawline. So I'm going to take this. One of the things that I am challenged on is that I believe this was like $28. I'll put it here if I'm incorrect. This was $28 and you get 6 grams of product. That is not a lot because my favorite powder right now is the Maybelline Fit Me. I've been using this for years. And this one, you get 20 grams of product. You get more than 3 times the amount of product for 1/3 of the cost. Do the math on that. This is hella expensive and you get so much less. So I'm very nervous to use it. And I am the type of girl that anything that's so expensive like that, I never want to use it because I want to save it for special occasions and I just feel too guilty to use it. So just keep that in mind. This is a very expensive powder and you get way less of it. So I would say take that for what you will. If you have the money to spend, spend the money. We're going to try this out. Hopefully it's magical and it totally justifies the cost. I'm going to take it on my sponge just like she did. And I'm going to bake right here. Yep, it looks like powder. I do like that it's pink because I do have pink undertones. So it is actually pretty nice to, I'm going to take this out. It is pretty nice to have something that matches my undertones a little bit more closely. All right, so our bake is on, and I think that looks, I mean, it looks and feels like powder. I'm not having the special magical experience. I'm having a regular powder experience so far with this product. I do really like the packaging. We're gonna sit here and talk for a second. I do really like the packaging, but you'll notice that this cap is extremely thick and this is very thin. That's because there honestly is not a ton of product in here, as we've already discussed. I do really like this though. It feels luxury. It feels very beautiful, as all of her products do. They all feel really, really nice. When you take the cap off, this is really deep. And I actually, just using it just now, I really like how deep this is, because one of the things that I struggle with my Maybelline Fit Powder is it kind of goes everywhere because of the square design, and this is a very shallow component. So if you see, I just opened this and I got powder all over my hand because of the design of this. So the powder kind of goes everywhere, like literally goes everywhere, and this is a very shallow component. So that's the Maybelline Fit Me, whereas this actually seals it in very, very nicely the way that it's designed. So I don't think I'm going to waste as much powder with this, which is good because it's hella expensive. And girl does not want to be wasting any of this very, very expensive powder. So she took a kabuki brush to wipe away that bake. And normally I would use a fluffy brush like this one to wipe it away, but we're following her tutorial, so we're going to follow her directions. And I'm just going to lightly blend that in. I don't feel like that made any difference. I don't feel like using the kabuki brush was like a magic trick here. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I think it looks good. It looks nice and cut. It's a powder. It's a powder. It did what powder should do. And it did what I normally expect a powder to do in that area of my face, which is give me a nice cut. Give me a nice blend. Give me a cheekbone. That's what I want. That's what I got. Did it do a better job than my Maybelline Fit Me? No, it did not. So take that for what you will. I would like to try it on the under eye, but for today's purposes, we are just following her tutorial on how to use these products. So now we have applied all of the powder. We've applied our brightening and setting palette under our eye, exactly how Jaclyn suggested. We have applied our translucent powder all over the face to set it, and we've used our loose powder to bake our little beard area. We have followed her instructions to a T. I do like the way my makeup is looking so far. I think my skin looks really nice. I feel like things are well covered, but it looks pretty natural. You can still see my freckles peeking through. I'm not seeing any powderiness or cakiness. Let's check the under eye. I've got some pretty significant creasing. Here, I'm gonna actually show you on my phone here. All right, so you can see under my eye, this is pretty creased and pretty wrinkly. If I go like that, you can see all of the concealer moving around and all of my 31-year-old wrinkles. I do really like the shade. It's very, very bright. It looks really nice. It's blending in nicely with the rest of my skin, but you can see under both eyes, very creased, very wrinkly. Did not fulfill its promises. But we're gonna see how it plays throughout the day. You can see my skin peeking through, you can see my freckles. I did use a like full coverage, medium coverage foundation today. So the fact that you can still see my freckles is something that I really enjoy, but the fact that the powder is also letting some of that shine through and it looks like my skin, I really, really like. I'm not looking too glowy, too radiant, too sparkly. I'm not looking sweaty. It just looks nice. It looks like my skin. Right here, it's got that nice blend and it's got that nice cut that I really, really like. I like the way that the powder brightened on my chin and on my nose. And this is without any bronzer or blush. So let's go ahead and get that applied so that we can get this full look going and see how it wears throughout the day. All right, so I am gonna take my Jaclyn Cosmetics Bronzing and Blush Duo. This is in shade Lilac, Love, and Top Tan. I'm gonna take my bronzer brush in there and we're gonna bronze. All these products are playing nicely together. I'm not noticing any weirdness, which is nice. I do really like the bronzing and blushing duos. I feel like they give me a really natural glow and flush. I like to take it down and let's blush. So I've got my blush brush here and I like to take it high. And everything's looking really nice. It's looking really melty and silky and beautiful. It is all looking very nice. The only thing that isn't looking nice is like directly under my eye where you saw it's so wrinkly and my concealer is very creased. It's pretty creased. I'm not gonna lie to you. And a little at the end of my nose. All right, so what do we think of the skin so far? I think it looks nice. Melty, I feel glowy. I feel like my skin looks really nice. It's silky and it doesn't look too makeup-y. I think that's what I'm most surprised by, because Jaclyn Hill likes to really slap the makeup on, I don't feel like this is a very makeup-y look so far. I'm feeling good about it. Am I feeling like this is the best makeup day that I've ever had in my life? No. Am I feeling like this is a very good makeup day so far? Yeah, I'll give this like a B so far. And I'm really dinging for how my under eye is wrinkling and creping and how it's creasing the concealer. That's really the only thing that I'm not loving. One of the things that I was nervous about is that I really like how pigmented this powder is, and I use it all over my face normally. So this is a little bit of a shift, using a translucent powder all over my face, but I'm so far really liking how it's looking. I actually might like it better than this as an all over face powder, but we're gonna see how it plays throughout the day. That is going to be the real test, because this does have pearls in it, and so the real test will be how it wears throughout the day, as well as down here, how that powder either set or didn't set my chin properly. I usually get a lot of breakup on my chin and on my nose, on the sides. There's a lot of things that we're going to test out. I need to finish my makeup, put some eyeshadow on, and then I need to put some highlighter on. We're going to finish this makeup look, we're going to get dressed, and we're going to go live our lives. We're going to go live our day, and I'm going to check in with you throughout the day and let you know how these products all played together and how they wore. All right, guys, I am back and my makeup is complete. I have a full face, and really, I basically have a full face of Jaclyn Cosmetics at this point, with the exception of my foundation and my concealer and contour. Everything else, oh, and my brows, but everything else is Jaclyn Cosmetics. And what do we think? What do we think of the final look? For my eyeshadow, I use the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette with Morphe. For my lip today, I did use the Jaclyn Hill liquid lipstick in Outspoken. I used the liner in shade Blondie. This is actually my first time using this. It was fine. It's a lip liner and it worked, and it's a perfect shade for me. Honestly, for a neutral day, this is great. I didn't feel like there's anything outstanding about it. It is a lip liner. It is a too expensive lip liner in my opinion, but it is good. And these look really nice together. I really like it, especially with this eye look. I think it really looks nice and springy and light. So I'm feeling really, really pretty. For my highlighters today, I am using Iced and Sparks. So Sparks is the color on the apples of my cheeks right here, and then Iced is the color that you see everywhere else on the high points. I felt like something a little bit more pinky and goldy would be really, really nice with this look. So those are the two highlighters that I used today. Again, both from Jaclyn Cosmetics. And overall, I'm really liking this look. I feel pretty. I feel like I'm wearing less makeup than I normally do, even though it's pretty much the same amount, with the exception of the translucent powder is just not as heavy as my normal Maybelline Fit Me powder, and so I'm thinking maybe that's why it feels less heavy. I do like that I can see my skin through, but that's really due to the foundation that I chose to wear today. And things are so far looking really nice. They're looking glowy, healthy, not too cakey. It doesn't look too powdery or too makeup-y. Everything is melted together really, really nicely. If we're looking over here, just the transition between the highlight, the blush, the bronzer, the contour, the powder, everything over here, I feel like it looks really, really nicely melted together. All of these products are really playing nicely together, and I think that's honestly the best thing about these products is how silky they look on the skin. Do I think that they are just like well beyond any other products that I've ever used before? No. I think that they're really well made, high quality products. I do think that this powder is overpriced and not worth it so far. I almost want to try it as an under eye bake, as you know, it says that it's an under eye powder, even though that's not how Jaclyn uses it. I used it exactly how she used it today, so we're going to see how that goes. But so far, this is the thing that I kind of have some feeling about how expensive it was. This palette, I'm really enjoying how brightening it looks right here. I like the shades, except I don't know when I'm going to use this. As a pale, cool undertone person, there's a lot of undertones in this, and I don't know that it totally makes sense as a palette. I think maybe if I had like a sunless tan, this might come in handy, but I'm just not sure. So that one I'm not sure actually if I'm ever going to use it, which for a palette that cost as much as it did, I mean, to not be able to use 25% of it, that means something. That's impactful. So we're gonna see how it looks, but these two shades right here I used today, I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed how brightening they were, how easy they were. They melted into the skin really nicely. The only note that I have is that it is really creased right here. It's really wrinkly and creased. I can pull down slightly and I can just see everything creasing. And it's, you know, with mascara and under eye eyeshadow and everything, that does get hidden, but it is still a problem. We're gonna see how that plays out throughout the day. And I think that I would want to do a couple more wears before really coming to my opinion, but that's where we're at today, guys. What do you think so far? I think that overall this is a really nice look. I am going to check in with you guys out throughout the day, and then we'll come back together at the end of the day and we'll give our final review. All right, guys, this is my first check-in. This makeup has been on for about, well, I started it like 5 hours ago, so it's been on for about 4 hours total. And I'm standing in front of a window, so you're getting a lot of natural light on my skin. What do we think? I think it's looking pretty good. It's definitely getting a little dewy, but not in a bad way. Not in a way that I feel like it needs to be touched up or anything, except for maybe my lip. But I've been drinking tea and doing all sorts of things. Let's take a closer look at my skin. You guys know that I crease pretty badly right here. And honestly, this looks pretty good. I would say that is pretty good for me. You can see a little bit of creasing, but it's not too bad. I think because I used a translucent powder versus using a pigmented powder right here, it's actually sitting way better. So I think that's something for us to keep an eye on over the course of the day. My eye makeup, like usually I don't have any problems. That's not what we're reviewing today, but I do really like it. Let's see the rest of the skin. So usually I'll experience some breakup here and here, like around here where my mustache is. And honestly, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty shiny and dewy, but it doesn't look bad. I think it just looks shiny. Everything is sitting really, really nicely. I mean, the highlight is amazing as always. Let's check the under eyes though. If you guys look here, you see all that creasing. Do you guys see that? Under this eye is even worse, and you see like it's kind of worn off right here. Do you see all that? I have very wrinkly under eyes already. So I'm not a stranger to creasing or to my wrinkles showing up. That's just the way my skin is. And I don't expect this product to solve everything that's wrong with my skin. But watching Jaclyn's video about these products, you know, she says specifically that this product is supposed to help with crepiness and, you know, no dryness. And I don't feel dry. I will say that I don't feel dry, but there definitely were some promises made from this product on, hey, it's not gonna crease, it's not gonna dry out, it's gonna help your under eye wrinkles. And I actually think that they are slightly worse than they normally are. I don't usually have creasing that goes all the way out here. It's usually just like right here if I have it at all. My Fit Me doesn't usually crease on me, but if I'm using a thick concealer, I'll often get creasing. But today I use my Makeup Revolution concealer, which normally doesn't crease on me. So I'm really enjoying the brightness. I'm really enjoying that it doesn't feel too dry, but my eyes creased immediately, and I mean, something to keep an eye on. Let's keep an eye on the shininess. I do see a little bit of shine here. But again, nothing that bothers me. I'm really feeling like this spring glowy makeup look, and I will check in with you guys again in a couple of hours. See you then. What's up, you guys? Hello, happy Friday. We are 8 hours into this makeup. It is the end of the workday. Happy Friday, and we just got the most amazing news that North Carolina is officially open. Mask requirements have been lifted. I am vaccinated, and it is a gorgeous day outside. I mean, if you can look behind me, it is so nice outside. So I'm standing in front of the open door so you guys can get the sunlight, similar to how we got it earlier today. Gonna do a check-in. So let's look at this face. Okay, this makeup has been on for about 8 hours. The only thing that I have touched up is the lip. For obvious reasons, I did have some Chipotle for lunch and it needed a little love. So I have touched that up, but really not a ton. What do we think of the face? What do we think of the makeup? It's quite shiny. If I zoom in here, can you guys see how shiny it is right here? And here, we're getting pretty shiny in here. My nose is very, very shiny, and this is going beyond the highlight that I put on it. I highlight my nose very, very little, very gently, really just on the tip and just a little down the center. And if I turn my head, you can really see how shiny it is. So looking just overall pretty shiny and dewy. You can see that reflect on my forehead. It's a lot. So I haven't touched up my face. I am going to touch it up because on any normal day, I would touch up where I'm oilier. So I want to see how the products perform as they also get touched up, if they get weird and cakey, if they change texture. I do like that overall my skin looks like skin. Guys, I have to stop. Oh, Woodhouse is here and he was just sitting outside like waiting, trying to figure out what I was doing. Okay, so normally I would touch it up with a little bit of powder. I am going to do that again, and I'm going to use the translucent powder because that is what I plan to put in my purse to take with me tonight, because we are going to go out. We are going to celebrate the reopening of North Carolina and just enjoy some time outside of the house. So we'll also get to see how this wears throughout the night. If I zoom you in, I'm definitely creased here. We know the story. I always crease here, but it doesn't have like product built up in the crease like it normally does because I use that translucent powder. So I think I actually kind of like the way that looks better, and everything else is holding up well. If I look at my under eyes, they have gotten significantly worse. I don't know if you can tell, but the creasing is a little out of control. You guys can really see how much it's creased, but the brightness is still there, which is nice. It's just definitely very creasy. Did not set the concealer in the way that I would hope. So let's see how it lasts for the rest of the night. I'm gonna go get changed. I'm gonna do my hair. We're gonna check in a little bit later. All right, guys, so I am going to touch up my shiny face. I just did my second check-in and we're definitely looking a little shiny, but that's pretty normal for me. I am a pretty oily person and I've been wearing this makeup for about 8 hours, which is a pretty long time. It's overall looking very good, and now that I'm in front of my like studio lighting, my vanity lighting, it looks really great, at least in the camera monitor. But I am looking quite shiny. Not too shiny, but I am looking quite shiny, especially right here. I'm looking shiny here and here. My nose is just out of control shiny. So I'm going to take that translucent powder and a small brush, and I'm just going to pick up a little extra and stipple the powder onto those shiny areas. And my concern is that this being a pearly translucent powder versus a truly mattifying translucent powder, that this will only contribute to the shine. And so far, it seems to be keeping a little bit of the luminosity, but is mattifying in the right way. So it looks back to a level of shine that I'm comfortable with, if that makes sense, rather than it being like, oh girl, your face is an oil slick. This powder really is very beautiful, and I'm not seeing my makeup move or get removed as I'm dabbing it on, which is nice. Sometimes that can happen as you touch up with powder. Things get weird and they start moving. So overall, it's looking pretty good. My under eyes are still looking pretty ratchet. They're looking progressively worse. I am pretty concerned about that. They're not doing so hot. They're getting pretty creasy I'm starting to see some of my dark circles kind of peek through. I don't feel like I have quite the coverage here that I would hope to have, but it's still looking pretty brightening. I just am not really happy at how much it's creasing. So I have just touched up my T-zone with the translucent powder. I do like the way that it touched up. It didn't add a ton of color. It didn't add a ton of cakiness. It's still looking pretty natural. It's looking beautiful. So far, I'm really liking this. All right, we're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna get ready to go out for the evening and I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. Hey guys, okay, it is 2:21. This makeup has officially been on for 17 hours. It is 2:21 in the morning. It's actually the next day.
Oh, honey. Oh, girl. Oh, honey. Oh, honey.
Let's take out the mirror and see what we think. So I touched it up twice throughout the night and honestly, not bad. It's definitely very dewy and very shiny, but overall, I actually kind of like how my skin looks overall. I think it looks dewy, I think it looks fresh. I think it looks all melted together and very, very silky, especially when you're looking at the highlight married with the blush, the bronzer, the contour, everything here looks amazing. I really, really like that. What I don't like is how shiny I look right here. And my nose is kind of falling apart. Here is kind of falling apart. But overall, I'm really liking the makeup look. If I'm looking at my eyes, there is significant problems. So I'm going to try to bring myself in. If you can look at my under eye, it is significantly crinkled and creased and wrinkled. It is not a joke underneath there. It's looking like a mess. Pretty bad. It really looks pretty bad. It's very wrinkled. It's very crinkled. It's very creased. It just doesn't look good.
Oh, honey. All this shade, honey.
Hey guys, it's future me. It's the next day after I filmed all that previous content from yesterday, and one thing that I wanted to try in doing my makeup today was actually using the under eye brightening powder on my under eye. So we didn't do that yesterday because that is not how Mama Jaclyn has recommended it. Given how much creasing I had yesterday and just how many kind of like issues I had with my under eye, I was like, let's try the powder that says that it's actually for your under eye and let's see what happens. So I'm sitting here, I'm clearly in the middle of doing my makeup, but I just did my under eyes and I wanted to show you what happened. I used the exact same foundation. I used the same concealer. This is like my ride or die concealer. It never fails me. And I used this, the brightening pink under eye powder. And I used the same technique. I used my little blending butter. I used my little beauty blender and I tapped under the eye, I pressed it in, and this powder acted so freaking weird. And I want to zoom in and show you what my under eye looks like. Do you guys see all of that? This has been on my face for maybe 2 minutes. Look at that under eye. I hope you guys can see it. Do you see how weird it is? It feels so dry. It's so crepey and it sinks into, like, I have fine lines like right here and I'm hoping that it shows up on camera. I usually do not have the problem once I have my concealer and my powder. It usually does not emphasize these little lines that I have right here. This does. It immediately was like, hey girl, you have under eye wrinkles. Do you want those emphasized? Because that's what I'm about to do. I'm going to make sure that everyone knows. It really just immediately emphasized everything that's going on with my under eyes in a way that my Maybelline Fit Me powder does not. I am really not liking how it's looking. And it's not as brightening as this palette, I'll say. So if you're looking for brightening, I actually really preferred this. I think I'm going to try to go over the top with some of this to see if that can help get that brightness back that I really, really liked from yesterday. But I mean, I think you can tell that this just looks really, really bad. This is really sinking in. Okay. So that's that. I'm gonna go finish my makeup. I'm gonna try to salvage my under eye a little bit, but this is the worst. This is the worst my under eye has ever looked. And I did not want to say that. This is the worst it's ever looked. I'm pretty upset. All right, guys, my look is complete. I finished my makeup and I do like it a lot, but I want to turn your attention to my under eye. Watch this. You see that? You see how much it's sinking in. Super crepey, and I don't usually have crow's feet that show up, but this powder has sunk to the depths of hell and is making my fine lines just the star of the show. So no, I would not recommend the brightening loose under eye powder for the under eye. And that's kind of where I'm at on it. I really hate how that looks, but we are where we are. I'm ready to go. At least I gave it a go, right? What's up, you guys? Hello. I just got back from dinner. It's been a few hours since I put on my makeup. I think it's been about 4 hours since I put on my makeup. I have refreshed my lipstick, but everything else I haven't touched at all. P.S. I am loving this eyeshadow. It looks like Neapolitan ice cream, and I'm like kind of obsessed. So what do we think? I'm gonna get closer to my lights. I really like my skin, like this highlighter, by the way. Oh my gosh, it is Colourpop Lunch Money and some Ofra highlighter. And I'm kind of obsessed with how it looks. But beyond that, let's look at the skin. I have my normal creasing here, but looking pretty luminous, not too dewy or shiny. No major breaking up. I am really liking how the complexion is looking overall, except for my under eye, because I did use that setting powder, and I just want to zoom in and show you. If you look, you can see every line, every wrinkle, and if I smile, you can see it, and look how crepey it is. Thin skin looks like tissue paper, and I don't normally have this problem. I am a 31-year-old woman. I have wrinkles. I don't deny that. I have a 31-year-old woman's under eyes. The challenge that I have is that my eyes don't normally look like this. Without makeup, with makeup, I don't usually have this problem, this like crepey, papery, wrinkly mess. That's not usually the way it is for me. So this brightening pink under eye loose powder, never again under my eye. And I'm really frustrated because it's so expensive and it feels too expensive to use all over my face, and it didn't feel like that special or that it made that much of a difference. The translucent powder, on the other hand, yes, I'm obsessed. I officially love it. My skin looks amazing, and overall I'm really digging it. It's definitely making my skin look like skin, but better. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, this is day 2 of trying these products, so just wanted to do that check-in and show you how everything is looking up here. A little dewy, but not too bad. Honestly, the skin's looking good except for that under eye. So, all right, guys, that's this check-in, and I think I'm gonna film a new ending because I filmed an ending last night, but I have more information to share because of my experiences today. So we'll see. All right, that is this check-in, and I will see you soon. Hey guys, this is day 3 of my Jaclyn Cosmetics Prep and Set collection review. This review was only supposed to be one day. I was gonna do a 1-day wear test, give you guys all the tea, but the way that things shook out with these products made me think that I needed to give these another couple tries and trying different techniques, different combinations of products, so that I could give you a really full review of this collection. It definitely was not what I expected it to be. So this is day 3, and I have been wearing this makeup for about, let's say, 5 hours, and I actually really like my makeup today. I used the translucent powder all over my face to set the face. I use the loose powder to bake my face, as Jaclyn has suggested in her IGTV video. And I use the brightening and setting palette under my eyes again because I wanted to try it with a different concealer, and I wanted to just make sure that my overall review was accurate and not kind of like a one-off experience. If you remember from earlier in this video, I did everything according to Jaclyn Hill's tutorial on her IGTV video, and things were okay. Honestly, I had quite a bit of creasing and wrinkling under my eyes. I really like how bright it is. I think that that's showing through today. It's super bright, but the product is really sinking into my under eyes, and I did use a different concealer today than I used on Friday, which is 2 days ago, and I'm still kind of having the same issue where it's really sinking into every single fine line that's under my eyes, and it is creasing. This is not a problem that I have all the time. This is not a problem that I have on a daily basis. So I do feel like these products crease and settle into my fine lines more than maybe my Fit Me. I usually use the Fit Me powder under my eyes and all over my face. I feel like this is creasing and settling into my fine lines more than the Fit Me powder. However, this is much more brightening. Let's talk more about the brightening and setting palette. What I really like about this is how bright it is. I love it. I am wearing the Lilac shade right here under my eye, and I'm wearing Coconut right here in my T-zone, and I really like how pigmented these are. I feel like I look awake and bright and fresh, and they were really easy to work with. I like this palette overall, but it is sinking into my fine lines. It is emphasizing them. I really like how user-friendly it is. I like how pigmented it is, and I like the size. This is a really nice size palette for what you get, and you get 4 different shades in this palette. It's got a really nice mirror. I really like the mirror on this, and I feel like I could just stick this in my purse and use it for touch-ups throughout the day. So it's good for all of that. What I kind of don't like about it, you guys have already heard my thoughts about how much it sinks into my fine lines under my eyes. I also am just not sure that these 2 shades are ones that I will use. These 2 bottom shades right here, it's kind of confusing as to why there are 4 such distinct shades in the palette. This is just not how I do my makeup. Don't know that it's something that I'm going to use unless maybe if I have a tan, but this is a pretty heavy yellow undertone, and I just don't have yellow undertones. I don't have neutral undertones. I have very cool undertones, and I struggle to see how this shade is going to play with my complexion. You guys have heard me talk a lot on my channel about how I feel about these types of complexion palettes that have multiple undertones in the palette. It's just not something that I think the regular consumer is going to get a lot of use out of. Time will tell, but that is ultimately my problem with this. Do I think it's a great product? Yes. Do I think it was exceptional? No. Will I continue to use it? Yeah. I really like how bright my under eye looks. I think that it looks nice and velvety. It looks bright. It lasts a long time. I think I'm going to continue to use this, but am I going to repurchase it? Tough to say. I think that's something that only time will tell. This is something I'll get a lot of use out of, but I'm not convinced that I'm going to use the entire thing. Time will tell. Next, let's talk about our dear friend, the brightening under eye powder. This is crap. This is crap. And I hate to say it, I hated this product, and I really don't hate things. I don't hate things. I usually can find some way to use the product. This product just made me really angry, and it made me angry for a few reasons. Number one, you get a third of the product and it costs 3 times as much as the normal product that I get. Now, I understand that they're in different markets. They are for different consumers. I'm comparing that to my regular Maybelline Fit Me powder. That is the powder that I always use every single day. I've used it for years. This costs triple that, and you get a third of the product. That is significant. Some people don't care about that. Some people don't care about the amount of product that they're getting. They don't care about the price. They just want something that's good. And that's kind of why I bought this. I said, hey, maybe this is great. And I've never spent a ton of money on a powder like that before and been like, wow, that was worth the money. But I said, you know what? Maybe this is. I spent the money, I got it, and I hate it. My under eye, when I baked with it under my eye, this is an under eye powder. It is marketed for your under eye, and when I used it on my under eye yesterday, it looked like shit. I mean, you guys saw the video. It really sunk in. It acted super weird. It got immediately really like clumpy, and it didn't like lay well. I had to really work with it with my beauty blender and with a brush to try to get it to blend in, because it started like clumping up on the concealer, and then it immediately was like, oh girl, do you have any lines under your eyes? Would you like them to see them from space? Here you go. This is the product for you if that's the look you're going for. And on top of that, I felt like it was not nearly as brightening as this. This is brightening. This, I did not feel like it was very brightening at all. And it looked bad, and it made me look so old. And I'm like, I know I'm 31, but I'm not that old. Really not good for what it says it's supposed to be, which is an under eye powder. Additionally, Jaclyn in her IGTV video said that this can be used to bake the face. That's how she used it. She actually didn't use it under her eye, and I bet you it's because it doesn't act well as an under eye powder. I'm pretty sure that's why she didn't use it that way. But conspiracy theories aside, I use it to bake my face, and the thing that I like about it is that it is pink, and it does have that pink undertone. There's some product in the cap here. It is a pink powder, and for someone that has really cool pink undertones, that's great. I thought it blended in beautifully. It did a nice job, you know, chiseling my cheekbones. I thought it looked really nice, but do I need to pay $28 for this? Or should I just continue using my Fit Me and I don't have to feel guilty and spend that much money on a product to bake my face or set my face? I just don't feel like that's somewhere where this shined. I don't feel like it added anything special or unique when used that way. So besides it having an undertone that I really, really like, I just didn't feel like this was worth it. I didn't feel like this was good at all. And now I'm just kind of sad that I have this and I don't even feel like I can use it. What I do like about it is the component. The component is incredible. You can tell that this was designed by someone that has experience using products. And let me tell you why. It's because you see how thick this is? My initial take was like, oh, most of this product is just component and it doesn't have a lot of powder to it. I feel like they're trying to mislead me as to how much is in this. That's not the case. This is a very smart design. Sorry, there's people outside. This is a very smart design for powder because I open it and it's very deep. This is very deep and this is very deep, so I can tap powder into this and it doesn't go everywhere. I don't get powder everywhere when I open this up. It's really easy to get the product out and then close it back up, and it doesn't get powder all over me. I'm not wasting product. It's very, very easy to use. It's easy to dip your sponge into. The depth of the cap here and the depth of the sifter is the best part about this. The component is incredible, and I will show you. I've talked a lot about my Maybelline Fit Me. This is my go-to. You see how dirty this is? It's because whenever you open and close it, powder goes everywhere. And I actually have to store it upside down to try and avoid the powder going everywhere because, and I'll show you, it literally is so dirty. It goes everywhere. When you tap it into the cap, it's not easy to get it back in. And so it kind of just fluffs everywhere. And you see how much powder I now have on my hand. It's a poor design. This, on the other hand, excellent design. So that is what I like about the brightening under eye powder. And finally, let's talk about my favorite product in the collection. That is the translucent powder. I thought that this was going to be my least favorite product. It was actually my favorite product. I love this. I love the mirror. It's so great for when I'm going out. It's a beautiful component so that when I'm out and I'm fixing my makeup, I'm looking at myself and doing my thing, I can see my whole face, I can do my touch-ups, and it looks really beautiful, and it's gonna match every single outfit that I have, which, I mean, that's just a personal thing, but I really like how this looks in the hand. I like the size, it fits well in my bag, and it's nice and heavy. It's a good weight. The powder itself, I thought I was going to hate because I thought it was going to make me shiny. I had watched a review from Manny MUA who said that it made him look sweaty, and that made me really nervous. And I didn't have that experience at all. I feel like it made my skin look nice and melted and velvet. It set my face without adding pigment, without adding a heaviness. It just made everything set in nicely, blend beautifully. This made my skin look really soft and luminous, and I usually hate luminous, glowy products because they do end up making me look shiny. And I didn't feel like this really did that. I felt like it just made my skin look blurred and beautiful, and everything melted together really, really nicely. This is really, really great. This is actually a product that when I use it all, I'm probably going to repurchase, and that is something that I didn't think was going to happen. So this product is very, very unique. It's a very unique translucent powder. I haven't used anything like this before, and I really like it. This is going to become a staple in my makeup. All right, friends, so that is today's review. What do we think? There was a lot that I threw at you over the last few days. This video is probably going to be a lot longer than I had initially anticipated, but I wanted to make sure that I gave these products the full experience, the full review, a full chance to really show me what they could do. And I'm really glad that I did that, because I hope that this helps you be a smarter consumer. And I hope that my thoughts here are helpful to you. If you liked this video, please don't forget to leave it a like. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I am back here usually every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but sometimes I'm late in my videos, but I do post multiple times a week, and I'd love to have you back. So if that sounds like your thing, please consider subscribing. I'd love to see you back. And don't forget to say hello down in the comments. I'd love to meet you guys. And I'd love to hear what you guys think about these products. If you've tried them, let me know what your experience was like. Is there something different that I could try and how I'm using them or how I'm applying them? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much to me that you would spend your time watching my videos. I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoy making them, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.